You have a string of bad luck, don't you? That's the worst kid I got.
I told you.
You know? Well, why don't we try to...
Most people remember James Belushi from the golden era of sketch comedy and broadcast television, when his particular brand of physical humor and blue-collar charm made him a household name. He was the younger brother stepping out of a shadow that most would have surrendered to, and for a solid 2 decades, he made it work. Yet like so many comedians who rode the wave of 80s and 90s television success, Belushi found himself adrift when the industry's appetite for his specific comedic voice simply evaporated. Today I would like to recall the career of James Belushi and understand why a man once considered a genuine star has spent the last 15 years in a professional wilderness. Belushi's entry into entertainment came through the family trade. His older brother John had already achieved iconic status as an original Saturday Night Live cast member and movie star before his tragic death in 1982, and James spent his early 20s working in regional theater and stand-up comedy in Chicago. He was not the natural, not the prodigy. He was the younger sibling, grinding it out in clubs, writing sketches, performing in ensembles. His first television appearances came in bit roles throughout the early 1980s, minor parts in shows that failed to catch on, or that cycled him through without making any real impression. He appeared on shows like Saturday Night Live as a guest performer and contributed to lesser-known sketch programs, but nothing registered with the viewing public. These early years were characterized by hard work and visibility within the industry, but without the breakthrough moment that separates working comedians from working actors. That moment arrived in 1989 with the sitcom Working Stiffs, a short-lived NBC comedy where Belushi played alongside his real-life brother-in-law. The show lasted just 5 episodes and was largely forgotten, but it got him on the map as a potential leading man. More importantly, it caught the attention of producers who saw in him a viable alternative to the sketch and stand-up comedians already dominating television. In 1990, he was cast in a supporting role in the buddy cop film K-9, which grossed approximately $43 million domestically and became a modest but genuine success. The film proved he could carry scenes in a feature production, and more crucially, it demonstrated he had enough screen presence to anchor material beyond sketch comedy. The real breakthrough came in 1993 with the sitcom Davis Rules, where Belushi played the lovable, bumbling patriarch in a show that premiered to middling ratings but found its audience. Davis Rules ran for 5 seasons until 1998, and averaged between 10 and 12 million viewers per episode at its peak, making it a solid mid-tier success for ABC. The show was tailor-made for his comedic sensibility. It played directly to his strengths in physical comedy and heartfelt sincerity. During this same period, he made the strategic move into film with Mr. Destiny in 1990 and Red Heat in 1988, each of which grossed between $30 and $40 million. None of these films were critical darlings, but they established him as a bankable leading man who could open a movie to respectable numbers. By 1994, Belushi was genuinely a star, not an A-list titan, but a legitimate working star with multiple revenue streams and an audience that recognized him. The peak window for James Belushi extended from roughly 1993 to 2000. In 1993, he earned a Golden Globe nomination for his work in Davis Rules, a genuine recognition of his ability to carry dramatic weight alongside comedy. The show itself was nominated for multiple Emmy Awards, including Outstanding Comedy Series, which validated the entire production and, by extension, Belushi's role within it. In 1996, he appeared in Jingle All the Way, opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger, a holiday film that grossed $297 million worldwide. Although his role was supporting, the association with a mega-grossing family film cemented his status as a reliable, bankable performer. He followed this in 1997 with Mr. Wrong, a romantic comedy with Ellen DeGeneres that, despite mixed reviews, grossed $40 million domestically. The trajectory was undeniably upward. Awards recognition, franchise adjacency, and consistent box office performance all pointed to a performer who had successfully transitioned from sketch comedian to legitimate star. However, the missteps began accumulating rapidly in the late 1990s. In 1998, Belushi appeared in Retrograde, a science fiction comedy that was poorly received and failed to find an audience. It grossed just $12 million domestically and disappeared from theaters after 2 weeks. More damaging was his involvement in Mr. Jealousy in 1997, an indie comedy that, despite some critical praise, was dumped into limited release and never expanded to wide distribution, earning fewer than $8 million. These were not catastrophic bombs, but they signaled that the industry's confidence in his ability to carry a film was beginning to waver. The decision-making around his roles began to show cracks. He was being offered projects that were smaller in scope, less prestigious in their pedigree, and more desperate in their comedic sensibility. Studio executives, according to reports from the period, had begun to view him as a television star trying to force his way into film, rather than a genuine crossover talent. The compounding factors accelerated his decline throughout the 2000s. A significant turning point came around 2001, when Belushi's agent shifted him toward action comedy hybrids and family films designed for direct-to-video release. This was not a conscious career strategy, but rather a response to dwindling film offers. His filmography from 2001 onward is littered with titles like Mr. Woodcock in 2007, which grossed a respectable $81 million, but was widely considered a critical embarrassment, a film that felt like a parody of the type of broad comedy Belushi had already exhausted. The role itself was secondary, a supporting part in someone else's film, marking a clear demotion from his position just 5 years earlier. Simultaneously, television networks were moving away from the type of broadly comedic sitcom that had made Davis Rules successful. The industry's taste had shifted toward mockumentary formats, single-camera comedies, and prestige cable dramas. Belushi's particular brand of comedy, loud, physical, earnest, and rooted in the sensibility of 1990s network television, had become aesthetically outdated. Rumors also began to circulate regarding his approach to roles and set dynamics. Some claim that Belushi had developed a reputation for being difficult to work with, though verifiable reports of on-set incidents are limited. What is documented, however, is that his agent relationships changed multiple times in the 2000s, and studios began requesting that his roles be reduced or rewritten during production. In 2005, he was announced for a film titled The Thing About Steve, a romantic comedy that underwent significant reshoots and re-editing before its release, with Belushi's role reportedly cut down to minimal screen time. The film, when it finally premiered, grossed just $6 million in limited release, a staggering drop from his peak. Industry insiders suggested that his comedic timing, once considered fresh and vital, now read as dated and forced. Typecasting had become his trap. He was neither young and energetic enough for the next generation of comedians, nor established enough for dramatic work. He existed in a no-man's land of casting, overqualified for television work, but no longer welcome in the studio's A-list film slate. Around 2008, Belushi effectively stepped back from active career pursuit. He did not publicly announce a hiatus or retirement, but his activity declined sharply. Between 2008 and 2012, he appeared in only a handful of projects, most of them low-profile television guest spots or direct-to-video films. The stated reason, insofar as any reason was given, had to do with wanting to focus on his family and personal life. He had married and started a family in the late 1990s, and as his career opportunities dwindled, he chose to invest his time in his personal priorities rather than continue to chase diminishing prospects. The industry's reaction to his retreat was essentially indifference. He had already dropped from the cultural conversation, so his absence went largely unnoticed by the general public. Trade publications noted his reduced output, but there was no sense of loss or missed opportunity, just the natural attrition of a performer whose time had passed. Belushi's comeback attempts have been modest and largely unsuccessful. In 2013, he landed a significant television role in the CBS sitcom The Millers, a show that premiered to reasonable ratings but declined sharply after the first season. The show averaged 6 million viewers initially, a respectable number for network television, but dropped to 4 million viewers by season 2 and was canceled after just 2 seasons in 2015. The show's failure to launch demonstrated that his television viability had also eroded. He was no longer the safe, bankable star that networks could rely on to anchor a sitcom. In 2015, he appeared in a streaming film called Cry Hard for a second-tier platform, a project that received minimal promotion and limited viewership. The critical reception was poor, with reviewers noting that Belushi's comedic approach felt archaic and uninspired. Another return attempt came with a guest appearance on the animated series Family Guy in 2017, a voice role that generated no particular attention or career momentum. Each of these efforts read like a performer grasping for relevance in a landscape that had moved on entirely. More recently, Belushi has appeared in a series of increasingly obscure projects. In 2019, he was cast in a low-budget comedy titled Custody, which went directly to a streaming platform and received minimal distribution. In 2022, he appeared in a network television guest spot on Young Sheldon, a show targeted toward a completely different demographic than his typical audience. As of 2024, there are no confirmed upcoming projects listed in major entertainment databases, and his social media presence remains minimal. He is no longer actively auditioning or seeking work, according to industry sources. This is not a dramatic fall from grace or a tragic fade. It is a quiet obsolescence. He has transitioned from being a working actor to being someone who occasionally appears on television when a project requires a familiar face for nostalgic value. He is not actively blocked by the industry or battling addiction or scandal. He is simply a man whose particular skill set became incompatible with contemporary entertainment trends. The legacy of James Belushi is that of a solid mid-tier entertainer who successfully navigated the transition from sketch comedy to sitcom stardom, but could never make the final leap into sustained film stardom. He was never a transformative performer, never someone who could carry a project purely on the strength of his talent or vision. What he was instead was a reliable professional, someone who understood his strengths, could deliver broad comedy with sincerity, and could be counted on to fill a role without embarrassing the production. His peak years from 1993 to 2000 represented a genuine achievement. He proved that a sketch comedian could build a legitimate career in television and film. What derailed him was not a single catastrophic choice, but rather a series of smaller missteps compounded by an industry that lost interest in his particular brand of comedy. The formats changed, the sensibility shifted, and Belushi found himself stranded between two eras. If a prestige director were to cast him in a dramatic role, not as a punchline or as a nostalgic appearance, but as a genuine character actor, there might be a path back to meaningful work. As it stands, his career serves as a cautionary tale about the precariousness of entertainment stardom and how quickly an audience can forget even someone they once loved.